G'day, welcome back to the channel. This episode is about motivational speaking. Now, me being a New Zealander, I am kind of low-key about most motivational stuff, kind of immune to when somebody starts talking about things. Doesn't really resonate with me too much, and I think that's kind of a New Zealand thing. If you don't know many New Zealanders, we kind of don't take things too seriously when somebody's trying to make a powerful speech. It's got to be a pretty good one to sort of resonate with most New Zealanders. But I do actually have some words that I do reflect on and utilize from time to time. I'll just show you this. A little bit of free advertising for Harcourts. If you're even, I don't know why I've got this, but it was in the mail. And so the list of words that I kind of started doing it when I was in my mid-30s and maybe my early 30s, and some of them came and went and I didn't really keep them, and I didn't really refer to them all that often. And then over time I got sort of the phrases that I wanted to keep, and these are the phrases that I think resonate most with me, and I thought they might resonate with you. They might help you out if you're the sort of person that sort of thinks motivational speaking, what are you talking about? Maybe these will help as well. Many of these came from a guy called Jocko Willink. Now, when Jocko Willink speaks, if you don't know Jocko, he's a former military captain, I think he was. I don't know, but he was in the military, and he's been to war, and he's got a lot of experience in parts of the world that very very difficult to be a leader. So he's a motivational speaker, leadership guru type of person. Look him up. I must admit, when he speaks, part of me sort of switches off a little bit. I kind of find that he's speaking to somebody else in another room, or there's somebody else that he's speaking to. He's not really speaking to me. But that doesn't mean that a lot of the things that he says aren't valid. And I think they've actually come and helped me. They've come in handy and helped me quite regularly, particularly getting me off the couch and getting going. So I'm going to read all of these out and just sort of speak briefly about them. And I've sort of got 7 points, is it 8 points from Jocko, and then there's a few others. So let's get stuck in. And number 1 from Jocko is start, or as he would say, start. Anyway, start, which is obviously, if you don't begin, you're not going to achieve anything if you don't begin. Number 2 is keep going, no excuses. No excuses. Now, when I was younger, certainly in my 30s, I loved that, because it was like, I'm in my 30s, there's younger people that are achieving all this stuff, I can do that too. Now I'm a little bit older, I've started to look at things a little bit differently. Look, there's excuses and there's reasons, Good example is my rowing machine is just through there. I haven't done 10 kilometers on that rowing machine yet because I'm not fit enough. And there's no point in breaking myself in the first week or two on the rowing machine. I want to build up to it. That's not an excuse, that's a reason. Okay? I've got no excuse for not building up to 10 kilometers. I know I can do it, but I've got a reason for not doing it yet. I'll leave you to work that one out. But so the no excuses thing, I think you have to approach that a bit more adult than just people like, who's the guy Goggins that just is full on, and it just doesn't resonate with me. Anyway, number 3, expand your comfort zone. And look, that can mean many things, but on an exercise thing, that just means building up your fitness, building up everything, but also trying new things. Part of this channel is me obviously expanding my comfort zone. I'm not new to YouTube, but I'm new to putting my face on YouTube. Let's put it that way. And also the comfort zone thing, I've done a lot of rowing. Excuse me. I've done a lot of rowing and a lot of weightlifting. Am I locking myself too much into this exercise? If it doesn't get me to 80 kg, yeah, I might need to do something different. I've got a couple of ideas, but we will see. There's certainly a couple of things that I absolutely do not want to do, and that's one of them is swimming. I just no interest in swimming at all. But I can see the benefits. I can certainly see the health benefits. Number 4, embrace the grind. Also embrace the suck. I think the suck is a military term from Jocko, and which I don't know what that means. I've never heard anybody in the military that I know say the suck, but that must be an American thing. So embrace the grind, and that is part of exercise. I think most people that have exercised for a long time understand that there's a physical challenge of, when you're feeling your body's fatigued, you still push through doing things. Even just getting started in the morning can be a bit tough, but it's the difference between knowing fatigue versus injury versus just getting going and keeping going with it. So I quite like embrace the grind. It's probably one of those things that I very much liked it when I was in my 30s. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it in my late 40s and early 50s, but that's part of me getting fit. If I'm fit enough, the grind should become easier, maybe, hopefully. Okay, number 5. Keep with like-minded people. Now, that is one that I'm really struggling with, and I've mentioned before that I don't want to join a gym. I'll go into a bit of detail on it in another video about why I don't want to join a gym. But in doing that, in doing this solo, I don't really have anybody that wants to join in with me in what I'm doing. There's people in my life that are very some people are encouraging, some people aren't bothering to encourage me, but it's very much a solo act. And in many ways, going to the gym and getting on a treadmill, just getting started, it very much is a solo thing for many, many people. And so this keep with like-minded people, it's tough, isn't it? If you've had a weight loss journey or you're thinking of doing one, finding those people that you fit with seems very difficult, because if you go to the gym and you're just surrounded by fit gym bunnies, you don't feel like you're part of that team. Whereas, where do you go? What do you do? So this is actually I wouldn't be surprised if this is quite a growing problem. The keep with like-minded people, as we do more things by ourselves, as we're more on the phone, as influences are more important to us than our own family, which sounds bloody tragic, doesn't it? Keeping with like-minded people, just once upon a time, it was actually quite enjoyable. I'd go to the gym, and the people that I went to the gym with on a daily basis, I didn't go to the gym with them. They were there at the same time as me, and we just sort of were the same kind of people. You go to the gym at 5:30 in the morning, you're kind of going to run into people that want to be at the gym at 5:30 in the morning. Those people aren't really in my life anymore. So this is a bit of a challenging one. Okay, number 6. Let's move on to number 6. Recognize your improvements. Now recognizing your improvements is fantastic. This is obviously one that is key to keeping going. And what I'm going to be doing is, I can already see myself getting slightly fitter on the rowing machine, so that's good. And also getting on the scales. Now, is the scales really an improvement? For in some ways, it's like the ultimate proof, right? But is it actually improvement? Look, I'm going to use it as my goal is to drop weight. So if I'm not dropping weight, then I'm doing something wrong, even if I am improving on the rowing machine. That's a challenge, right? But so I need to know what my improvements are, but also how do you recognize them? Do you just sort of, I think this is one of those things that doesn't mean reward. Okay. Now go ahead and reward yourself all you like, but a lot of people reward themselves with food. I need to find a different way of rewarding myself. I used to do other things like I wasn't really too worried about. I don't get me wrong. I love junk food. It's always been a problem, but I didn't really reward myself with food. I rewarded myself with lying on a beach for 3 weeks, sort of thing, like a massive rest, and then I'd sort of ease back into the gym after I've put on a few kg and have to work it all off again, and that was sort of the way I rewarded myself, which probably isn't that healthy anyway. You just want to sort of keep the activity going, don't you? So I really need to address the way I reward myself. Recognize is a little bit different. I think a lot of people look in a mirror and go, I'm still not what I want to be. And that's probably a chronic problem across humanity. Possibly not for people that have not bothered to look in a mirror. But if you're forever saying, I'm not what I want to be, you're going to fail to see what you have become, which is a better version of what you were doing the other day. I could go very deep with that one. I think it's better to just sort of stay a little bit shallow, isn't it? But recognizing your improvements, just being able to look in the mirror or just feel better. I already feel better. Not right now, I'm actually quite fatigued, but I feel better. So that's a good sign, isn't it? So I need to be appreciative of myself for doing all of this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And number 7 is rinse and repeat. So rinse and repeat, I basically just goes back to start. And if I can go back to start again, start is something that I read most mornings on the fridge. When I get out of bed, I go to the fridge, I get my water bottle out of the fridge, and on the fridge it just says start. So I basically just go start, keep going, expand your comfort zone, embrace the grind, keep with like-minded people. There's a tricky one. Recognize your improvements, rinse, repeat. Next morning, always go back and read start. So start is one of those things that I'm always reading first thing in the morning. Now, I haven't been particularly good at it over the past sort of 3 weeks starting my exercise regime again on this channel. But once upon a time, I would always be at the fridge first thing in the morning at about 5:15, 5:30 in the morning, and I would read that. And that was the way I started my day. Somebody actually saying start, or saying it to myself, start. So that's basically just this checklist, this mental checklist that you're working through that just reverts back to start when work your way down. So I personally believe it's a fantastic way to start the morning. Particularly if you're getting up at 5:30 in the morning and you're going and exercising. I think you could use it for many other things other than exercise. But I do recommend trying it. Now there's another comment here from Jocko, and it is, remember why you started. Now I could tell you that the reasons that I started, number one, I'm unhappy with my activity of what am I up to when I'm not working? What am I up to when I'm not spending time with family? And what happens is I get frustrated when I am at work and when I am with family because I'm not achieving anything when I'm not with them. So I'd sit there getting frustrated at myself for wasting a bunch of time. So part of me wants to get out and see the world, travel, see what's out there. I used to travel a lot, and I sort of worked out that I let's put aside the money side of things. That's the next challenge, but um, I don't feel fit enough to go and see the things that I want to go and see. So that's one of the many reasons that I that's one of the many reasons that I started. Right. So that's the first half of that list. And yes, I do intend to read this every morning. I used to read it every morning, and I do see the benefit of it. Okay, now the next section is slightly different. I don't think this was actually from Jocko. This was sort of the mental things that they're not necessary. Those things are kind of prescriptive. What I've already read out. This one is more you want to things to consider. A little bit different. So number one is think versus feel. When are you confusing your thoughts for your feelings? Now, being a man and I suppose being a New Zealander, not really, not really into our feelings. But every now and then you've got to, let's say, the other day I failed on the rowing machine. Actually, better example, the other day I failed on the exercycle. So I was on the exercycle and I was trying to do 30 minutes, 15 kilometers on the exercycle. And for 30 minutes, I was watching myself fail. I just could not get up to a speed to achieve 15 kilometers. And I just couldn't work it out. What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? And when I got off, I was really disappointed. I was standing by the machine going, what just happened? Don't get me wrong, I was exhausted and I was drinking some water. I wasn't down on my knees screaming at the ceiling. But I was sort of thinking to myself, what has just occurred here? But what I wasn't doing was reflecting on my emotions. And yes, I do have feelings, I do have emotions. I'm a New Zealander, so my emotions kind of look like that. But also, they are real. So my emotions were disappointment and something else that I couldn't quite. I can't describe them. But understanding that I am emotional about my success and my failure, and understanding that there's something of me that wants to achieve this that is not logical. I'm not thinking my way through this. I'm also emotionally attached to it as well. Something to consider when you're exercising, that you get emotionally attached the same way that I get emotionally attached to a sports team that loses. You've got to approach these disappointments with understanding that you are going to have emotional reactions to it. Anyway. Okay, next is value. Oh, next one is expectation. So expectation is, the way I look at this is being realistic, but also having an appreciation for what you actually want to achieve from what you're doing. Are you doing everything to achieve what you want? And should you be expecting more, or are you expecting too much? So it's one of those fine balancing things. Next one is value hard work and conscientiousness. Back to the failures thing. I worked really hard on that exercycle, but I was disappointed. But you have to also value the fact that I got on the bike and I tried. Okay? And that's where conscientiousness becomes a thing. Just because you failed at something doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. That's the first thing. But also you have to value your trying to achieve something. That is a very valuable part of exercise, and your determination to try and do something is as valuable as your ability to do it. other people are going to value my ability based on how I look, right? Some people are going to go, "Yay, you got on an exercise cycle. It means nothing because look at how you look. You're still a short little fat man." But that's unimportant when you're talking about conscientiousness. I got up and got on the bike. Um, don't get me wrong; it's not enough for me on a long term thing, but in the short term, it's still something to value. Okay. Number 4 is look, I've got a thing in here for correcting others. Now, that's a really tricky one to explain, isn't it? Because out there in the world, we've got the internet full of people telling me that I'm doing, well, they're not telling me, but they're telling many, many people how to really go and um, lose weight. In fact, since I started this channel, my YouTube stream of videos has gone absolutely mental with 15,000 different ways to lose weight. They're all telling me to walk more, walk less, eat this, drink that. It's all over the place, isn't it? And look at the comment sections. Oh, the comment sections are just diabolical with all sorts of people telling all sorts of fantasy stories. Now, don't get me wrong, somewhere in the middle of all of that is the truth or fantastic information. But where do you look? My God. So I've got a thing here for myself correcting others to make sure that I don't. Now, this is never really a thing for me at a gym, possibly more in a workplace. But at the gym, you sort of see people. Once upon a time, the best people that I saw at the gym for correcting others were people that had been there, done that, and they would sort of approach people and say, "Look, I think you might be about to injure yourself, or that particular action isn't a particularly safe way to do that exercise. Can I offer some technical advice?" Those guys, valuable, very valuable. But some people just sort of, "What are you doing that machine for?" Hmm. Um, I can't recall ever trying to tell people how to lose weight or doing anything like that. Although, am I telling people how to lose weight with this channel? I don't think so. I'm possibly showing them how not to. Okay, number 5, overthinking. If you can't tell, I'm a massive overthinker. That's why I've basically said weights, rowing machine, weights, rowing machine. I might introduce some other things in the future, but that's basically what I'm up to at the moment. Okay, number 6, underestimating skill and knowledge. Now, I am not particularly worried about this one too much on a daily basis. So because I've been exercising since the late 1990s, I've got a fair idea of what used to work. I don't know if it works on a 48-year-old body. That's my knowledge, you know. So if you've seen me on the machines, you're probably seeing somebody with poor technique, and that's because I'm unfit and haven't done it for a while. But I'm looking at that video and going, "Oh my God, I need to improve that." So that's probably where I'm concentrating most over the next few weeks, is working on my form, working on my technique, but the knowledge is there. The previous skill is there. And I'm not too worried about being corrected by others either. So feel free to tell me what I need to do, or point me in the direction of somebody knowledgeable that might have some advice, or a video out there that tells me specifically how things should be done. Yeah, my rowing form is ugly as hell. It looks real bad. Okay, so the last 5 things that I've got here at the bottom, and these are the last 5 things that I read. And number 1 is be passionate. Now, being passionate, I'm a New Zealander. Again, it's a bit challenging, right? Being passionate is one of those things that is kind of under the surface. I am passionate about this. I'm just, not going to show too much emotion, or it, I think I'm trying to think of famous New Zealanders, and yeah, people can probably pick a few that just don't seem to be particularly enthusiastic people, but no, they're passionate people just under the surface. Don't complain. Yep, not intended to complain about anything. Probably my only complaints at the moment are stress outside of exercise. I'm having a few challenges outside of the gym, outside of the rowing machine. Probably that's my only part that I would start complaining about. Be flexible. We're almost there. Be flexible. I think that might mean in both body ways, which I'm not flexible whatsoever, so I need to really work on that. More stretching, but also if I'm failing at these, if I'm failing to achieve what I want to achieve, and I need to do something else, I'm going to do it. I did name the channel after rowing, but is it something that I stick with? I would like to. Once I'm going and once I'm fit enough, I quite enjoy getting on a rowing machine for an exercise, and I find it actually a relaxing thing to do over time. I'm not breaking any records. I'm not going particularly quick, but 10 kilometers every couple of days is it is a very relaxing thing to do. Last two things. Number one is take action. Yeah, that seems like a bit of an out of context thing. First thing in the morning it works. Take action. It's just that I think it's just one of those things, just building up after the start. And the last one, and this is certainly not least, I have kept the last one, and it is the last thing that I read. It says, expect results. That's just put that in the middle of the frame. So the last thing that I ever read is expect results. I expect results. I expect to get to 80 kg. There is no excuses that I can think of for me to not get to 80 kg. The only things that is if I'm getting stuff wrong, if I'm trying things and I need to change what I'm doing, I personally think I can get there. And I think the things that I'm doing will get me there. I think expect results is a very powerful thing to say to yourself. A lot of people are quite self-defeating, and no, I might have got frustrated on the bike the other day, but I didn't think that was the end of me doing this channel or trying to get to 80 kg. I just thought, oh geez, I can't. I had a bad morning. So feel free to expect results of me as well. I do. Thank you very much.